Supreme Naruto system, I begin by obtaining the fire technique. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26, Parents Attacked, Tsukuyomi appears. Just when Kazama had arranged everything and was ready to return to Konoha with Kakashi and others, he happened to meet the Anbu who rushed here from Konoha. Sanada Kazama, Lord Hokage asks you to return to Konoha as soon as possible. What's wrong? Hearing the words of the Anbu ninja, Kazama suddenly felt something was wrong. The hospital where your parents were recuperating was attacked. Now your parents have new injuries before their old injuries have healed. I'm afraid. Before the Anbu ninja finished speaking, Kazama disappeared. His speed was as fast as lightning and his movements were as loud as thunder. Even the Anbu ninjas who were known for their speed were shocked. Let's return to Konoha as soon as possible to see what happened. With Kakashi's order, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura also set off in a hurry. Kazama kept using his instant body technique along the way. His figure had turned into a ball of light and shadow. In just half a day, he had already arrived in Konoha. You know, even for Anbu ninjas, it takes a day to complete this journey. How are my parents? Seeing that Kazama rushed back in such a short time, the third Hokage in the hospital couldn't help but secretly marvel. The situation is not good, the third Hokage said with a sigh. I really didn't expect that someone would dare to attack Konoha Hospital, which caused your parents' injuries to worsen again, but don't worry, I have asked the daimyo of the Land of Fire to invite his royal physician to come over, and they will arrive in Konoha in 3 days. 3 days, looking at my parents' current injuries, I'm afraid they can't even last a day. Although Kazama doesn't know medical skills, seeing that his parents' faces are as pale as gold paper and their breath is only coming out but not coming in, this is clearly a state of dying. How dare you? How dare you talk to the Hokage in such a tone? At this time, Konoha's senior advisors Kaoru and Mitokado also came to the hospital. The two came here because the Chunin exam was approaching and they had something to discuss with the third Hokage, so they came here. Even the imperial physician of the Fire Country daimyo can't be trusted. Can you save your parents? I couldn't save them before, but I can now. As soon as Kazama finished speaking, he immediately used the power of Yang Fire to inject it into his parents' bodies. In the next few breaths, the complexion of Kazama's parents improved rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. Even the injuries on their bodies recovered. Seeing this magical scene, not only Konoha's senior advisors Kaoru and Mitokado were shocked. Even the third-generation Hokage, who was known as the Ninja Doctor, was a little unbelievable. Because he had never seen a flame that could bring people back to life. I haven't seen this kid Kazama for a few days, and his strength has increased so much, as the third-generation Hokage secretly exclaimed. Kaoru and Mitokado suddenly felt a burning pain on their faces. It was the first time that they were slapped in the face by a Chunin at the speed of light. Have you found the murderer who attacked the hospital? Hearing Kazama's question, the third-generation Hokage immediately nodded. The Anbu has captured one of them, but after questioning him for a long time, they still couldn't find out the mastermind behind the scenes from him. He is now in the interrogation room of Ibiki. I want to interrogate him personally. Humph. The interrogation room is the most important place in Konoha? How can a kid like you go there? Kaoru and Mitokado were worried that they would not have the opportunity to reprimand Kazama. Now that they saw that Kazama, a Chunin, was going to the interrogation room, they naturally sneered at him. Tsukuyomi, Kazama didn't have time to listen to their nonsense, and these two had a close relationship with Danzo, and Kazama had long wanted to teach them a lesson. Therefore, after at Tsukuyomi, Kaoru and Mitokado suddenly felt a dark scene in front of their eyes. Then they felt a heart-wrenching pain, which lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. But in the real world, it was only a few breaths. This is the horror of Tsukuyomi. Chapter 27, an interrogator even more powerful than Ibiki. The situation at this time immediately shocked the third Hokage, and he hurriedly looked at Kazama. This is the Mangekyō Sharingan. Seeing that Kazama of the Sanada clan actually mastered the Mangekyō Sharingan of the Uchiha clan, the third Hokage was dumbfounded. Don't worry, they just suffered an attack on their 5 senses. They will recover after a few days of rest. There is no danger to their lives. After saying this, Kazama immediately performed the instant body technique and came to Ibiki's interrogation room the next moment. Sanada Kazama, seeing Kazama's sudden appearance, Ibiki couldn't help but secretly exclaimed. Because Kazama had killed 3 root ninjas in a row before, his name had already spread throughout the Anbu. As the interrogation room of the Anbu, Ibiki was naturally no exception. But although he knew that Kazama was powerful, he didn't expect that Kazama could sneak into his interrogation room quietly. I need to see the ninja who attacked the hospital. Hearing Kazama's cold tone, Ibiki knew that he was now extremely angry. Therefore, he hurriedly brought the man over. Little bastard. Don't even think about getting the mastermind out of me. At this time, Feng Jian hadn't spoken yet, but the murderer started to curse Feng Jian first. There is a seal in his mind. It will probably take some time to find out the mastermind behind the scenes, okay? There is plenty of time in my Tsukuyomi world, Feng Jian said and cast the Tsukuyomi illusion on this person. In the world of Tsukuyomi, time and space are all controlled by the caster. The person who is under the illusion can be tortured for years or even decades in the world of Tsukuyomi until he collapses. A few minutes later, the murderer who was so arrogant before, now has a dazed look and collapses to the ground. Have you found out the mastermind behind the scenes? Found out what? So fast, seeing that he spent most of the day and couldn't find any useful information. But Feng Jian actually found out the details of the enemy in just a few minutes. Ibiki suddenly felt that he was nothing compared to Kazama. Hey! Who is the mastermind behind this? Ibiki shouted when he saw Kazama trying to leave. Unfortunately, Kazama had already used the instant body technique to disappear without a trace. Because the mastermind behind this was Danzo. He didn't need to tell anyone about this result. Because Danzo's position in Konoha village was very important, it would be useless even if he told it. Instead, the news would leak out, letting Danzo know his strength and be wary of him. So Kazama decided to hide this matter. Since the Chunin exam is coming soon, it means that Orochimaru will take the opportunity to invade Konoha. When Konoha village is in chaos, I will settle old grudges with Danzo, Kazama thought as he prepared to return to the hospital. But after walking a few steps, he felt his vision was a little blurry. Oh no. Is it the sequelae of overusing the Mangekyō Sharingan? Kazama knew that the more times the Mangekyō Sharingan was used, the greater the risk of blindness. It seems that I have to upgrade to the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan quickly, but where can I find a pair of Mangekyō Sharingan to fuse? Thinking of this, Feng Jian immediately told the system about this problem. If the host does not have a suitable Mangekyō Sharingan to fuse, you can also collect 10 ordinary Sharingans and fuse them into the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan. 10. Doesn't Danzo's right arm have 10 Sharingans? And Danzo's right eye is transplanted with Uchiha Shisu's Mangekyō Sharingan, which has the strongest illusion Kuromatsu Kami. If I can defeat Danzo and recycle these Sharingans, I can not only obtain the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan, but also the strongest illusion Kuromatsu Kami. Well, it seems that I have to speed up the revenge against Danzo, little devil. You walk without eyes. Just as Feng Jian was thinking to himself, he suddenly heard a curse. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28, Taking Kankuro's Crow at the beginning. It's Kankuro from the Sand Village. After seeing the man who yelled at him, Kazama remembered that the Chunin exam was approaching. So the Sand Village that was allied with Konoha, as well as the Shin'an from other small countries, had all come to Konoha one after another. Of course, there were also many subordinates of Orochimaru among them, as well as the Sand Village that secretly allied with Orochimaru. They were participating in the Chunin exam in the name of participating in the Chunin exam, but in fact they were going to attack Konoha. I can't stop Orochimaru for the time being. Now that I've met Kankuro, this guy wants to show off in front of me again. Why not torture Kankuro first, lure out Gaara, and then explain the situation to him? Kazama knew that Gaara was an important part of the plan to destroy Konoha this time. As long as he explained the situation to him, Orochimaru's plan would fall apart. Kazama-kun. This guy was deliberately looking for trouble just now, and he knocked Naruto to the ground. At this time, Sakura had already come to Kazama's side. No. I fell down by myself. How could this guy beat me? Naruto said as he waved his fist and rushed towards Kenjiro again. It was obvious that he had suffered a big loss before. Humph. It seems that I was too gentle just now. This time I will make you never get up. With Kanjiro's sneer, dozens of shurikens stabbed directly at Naruto. Damn it, Naruto hurriedly tried to dodge after seeing it, but because he rushed too fast just now, his body had lost balance. Seeing that these dozens of shurikens were about to hit Naruto, Kazama immediately used the yin fire power of yin and yang dual flame. A black wall of fire directly blocked Naruto, and instantly turned the shurikens that were coming towards him into nothingness. Who cast the fire escape? The power is so strong, since Kazama no longer needs to make a seal to cast the spell, Kanjiro can't detect Kazama's movements at all. Thank you, Kazama. Seeing that he was saved, Naruto finally breathed a sigh of relief. Kazama? Was it you who performed the fire style? Hearing Naruto's thanks, Kanjiro realized that it was Kazama who had blocked his attack. How dare you sneak up on me, kid? It's not that I'm sneaky, but your eyesight is not good. You didn't even see who attacked you. How can you be a ninja? Damn it. How dare you look down on me? Kanjiro immediately took off the bandage on his back. That's right, since you are a puppeteer, let me see the strength of your puppet. I can show you, but you have to pay with your life. Black secret technique, hold a dagger. At this time, a dagger immediately appeared in the hand of Kanjiro's puppet. In an instant, it rushed towards Kazama. Boy, micro dagger contains a deadly poison. If you touch it, you will die. Let's see how you can avoid it. Just when Kanjiro thought he could kill Kazama, suddenly, he saw the powerful and mysterious black flame appear in front of Kazama again. In one encounter, the entire arm of the puppet crow was burned into nothingness. Damn it, Kanjiro knew that Kazama's fire escape was extremely powerful. He didn't dare to fight the puppet head-on, so he wanted to take the puppet back immediately. Unfortunately, Kazama's strange fire seemed to have eyes. It directly cut off the chakra line between Kanjiro and the puppet. The puppet without the control of the master naturally fell into Kazama's hands. Since you are not as skilled as others, I will accept your puppet with pleasure, you bastard. Return my crow quickly. This crow puppet is Kanjiro's trump card. All his puppet techniques require the help of the crow. But now that the Chunin exam has not yet begun, his puppet has been taken away by Kazama. How can he not be anxious? Chapter 29, Beating Temari and Playing Tricks on Gaara. Isn't he just a kid who can only perform fire style? Let me meet you. At this time, Kankuro's sister Temari also immediately held the ninja tool 3-star fan in her hand. Little kid, don't blame me for not reminding you, I am best at wind style, which happens to be able to counter your fire style, so you'd better return Kankuro's crow as soon as possible. What if I don't return it? Then I'll show you. Wind style Kamedachi, a powerful storm mixed with countless vacuum blades, instantly surrounded Kazama. My technique can make fire style, sound style, bomb and other ninjutsu all ineffective, so you will definitely lose, Kazama-kun. Be careful. Seeing that Temari's wind style was so powerful, she actually surrounded Kazama in the center of the storm in an instant. Sakura was extremely worried and kept shouting at Kazama. Ling successfully absorbed the C-level ninjutsu Kamedachi. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the B-level ninjutsu wind style great Kamedachi technique, Ling. The host can obtain the fourth kind of strange fire if he absorbs 3 more ninjutsu, haha. Konoha's Jinan is just like this, not even as good as the dogs in our sand village. Just when Temari and Kankuro thought that Kazama would definitely lose this time, suddenly, the storm formed by the Kamedachi slowly disappeared, and Kazama in the center of the storm was intact. How is this possible? You can only perform fire style, and you should be completely suppressed by my wind style. Why are you safe and sound now? Who told you that I can only perform fire style? Next, I'll let you taste my wind style great Kamedachi technique, a wind style that is more powerful than Temari's Kamedachi technique whistled in. It blew Temari and Kankuro to pieces. This is still Kazama showing mercy. If Kazama added strange fire to the wind style just now, with the help of the fire, Temari and Kankuro might be reduced to ashes. As a punishment for failure, I will accept your 3-star fan without hesitation. You guy, are you really a Jinan? Seeing that she not only did not help Kankuro take back the crow puppet, even her own ninja tool, the 3-star fan, was taken away by Kazama. Temari suddenly felt that the Kazama in front of her was not a Jinan at all, and it was not an exaggeration to say that he was a Jonin. A bunch of trash. Even their own ninja tools were taken away. At this time, a cold voice immediately sounded behind Kazama. Eh? Gaara. Temari and Kankuro were so scared that they trembled all over when they saw the person coming. Give them back the 3-star fan and crow now, or I will kill you. I will not return the 3-star fan and crow, and I will also take your gourd." As Kazama said, he turned and looked at Sanfrecce Gaara. "How dare you say this to Gaara? This brat Kazama is dead." Temari and Kankuro knew very well how terrifying Gaara was. No one had ever dared to say such arrogant words as taking away his gourd in front of Gaara, the Jinchuriki of the one-tailed Shukaku. If Gaara went berserk and used the power of the one-tailed Shukaku, I'm afraid everyone present would be killed by him. So Temari and Kankuro immediately shouted to Kazama anxiously, "Boy, we admit that we are not your opponent. We apologize for offending you just now, but you must not anger Gaara, otherwise we will all be killed by you." "Yes, Kazama-kun. Otherwise, forget it. Their sand village is also an ally of our Konoha. There is no need to make the relationship so stiff." Sakura also felt Gaara's murderous aura at this time. She was worried that Kazama would be injured, so she immediately persuaded Kazama. "Did you hear what they said? From the moment I came behind you, you were destined to be a dead man. Don't force me to do it, I still say the same thing. I will take your gourd." Hearing Gaara's death threat, Kazama was not afraid, but laughed instead. Chapter 30 I accept your gourd, Gaara. Since you are looking for death, you can't blame me, as Gaara shouted angrily. A huge arm made of sand immediately appeared in the gourd behind him. "It's over. That little brat Kazama is dead, it serves him right. Why did you mess with Gaara when you can mess with anyone else?" Because they were worried that Gaara's attack would affect them again. Temari and Kankuro immediately retreated to the big tree behind. Bang! But Temari and Kankuro had not yet stood firm. Suddenly they found that Gaara's sand had actually attacked Gaara himself. It directly knocked Gaara to the ground. This sudden change scared Temari and Kankuro so much that they fell from the tree. What the hell is going on? Gaara, who was knocked to the ground by his own sand, was also terrified. You know, as the one-tailed Shukaku Jinchuriki, he has been using sand as a means of attack since he was born. And he uses it very well, but now the sand is out of control. What's wrong, Gaara? Did you want to attack me? Why did you slap yourself? You're looking for death? Hearing Kazama's ridicule, Gaara was immediately furious. Sandbinding Prison. Sandbinding Prison is one of Gaara's trump cards, and it will definitely not fail this time, Kankuro said secretly after seeing it. But you knew that although the sand-binding prison was successfully performed, it did not bind Kazama, but tied Gaara tightly. Damn! Am I dreaming? Temari and Kankuro immediately rubbed their eyes. They couldn't believe what was happening in front of them. Gaara's sand escape has never had any problems in the past, why is it making mistakes so often now? Gaara, are you going to fight or not? If you don't, I'll leave. Hearing Kazama's ridicule again. He saw Naruto, Sakura and others around him laughing because their ninjutsu went wrong. Gaara suddenly felt that the reason why his sand was out of control was probably because of Kazama. Is it you who did this? You finally figured it out. Kazama stretched out his arms, and waves of sand immediately appeared under his feet, dragging Kazama into the air. Seeing that his signature move was actually used by Kazama, Gaara had gone from being shocked before to being terrified now. Because he found that at this time, he was completely cut off from the sand. That is to say, the chakra in his body could no longer control the sand. It turned out that Gaara's sand escape attack was derived from part of the power of the one-tail Shukaku. In front of Kazama, who had obtained the full power of the one-tail Shukaku, Gaara's sand escape attack did not work at all. In other words, in front of Kazama, Gaara was no different from an ordinary Jinan. Even worse than an ordinary Jinan. You can actually use sand escape. Seeing Kazama's performance at this time, Gaara immediately felt an unprecedented fear. Not bad. I know all the moves you know, and I also know the moves you don't know. Sand Waterfall Funeral. Is it over? Seeing Kazama actually use the Sand Waterfall Funeral. As the original user, Gaara knew the power of the Sand Waterfall very well. Just when Gaara thought he would die here, he suddenly saw the sand wrapped around his body loosen up by itself. It turned out that Kazama was just playing a joke on him. After all, Gaara would become a loyal ally of Konoha in the future, so how could Kazama kill him? Then the gourd filled with sand behind Gaara flew into Kazama's hand by itself. Within a few rounds, he beat Kankuro, Temari, and Gaara in succession. Chapter 31, Max Level Characters Massacre the Novice Village. Tell me, what do you want? Seeing that the three of them had their ninja tools taken away by Kazama. And even though they had used all their strength, they were still no match for Kazama. Even Gaara, who had always been unwilling to surrender, now lost his temper. Okay, Kankuro bullied Naruto before, at least he should apologize first. Okay, I apologize. Hearing Kazuma's request, Kankuro was a little reluctant, but he didn't dare to disobey. Thank you so much, Kazuma, let's go. I'll treat you to Chiraku ramen. Naruto immediately ran over happily. You go with Sakura first, I have something to do here, because Kazuma was going to explain the situation to Gaara next. The reason why he beat the three of them in a row now was not to show off, but to stop Gaara from attacking Konoha. Okay, then we'll wait for you. Sakura didn't forget to make a love gesture to Kazuma before leaving. I don't know what Gaara, a single dog, would think after seeing this. What do you want from me? Seeing Kazuma winking at him, Gaara immediately asked Kankuro and Temari to go somewhere else. Gaara, don't carry out the operation ordered by the 4th Kazekage to destroy Konoha? What? How did you know our operation? Gaara subconsciously wanted to attack Kazuma. Because the enemy knew about the operation before it even started, this was a taboo for ninjas. But he suddenly thought that his Sans release was not effective in front of Kazuma. Don't worry about how I know. Anyway, your 4th Kazekage was bewitched by Orochimaru, so you teamed up with him to deal with Konoha, and it won't be long before Orochimaru will assassinate the 4th Kazekage. You must try to be on guard. That's all I have to say. It's up to you whether you believe it or not. After saying this, Kazuma turned around and left. He knew that with Gaara's intelligence, he would definitely find out the truth next. As long as Gaara could see through Orochimaru's tricks, then the damage caused by Orochimaru to Konoha in the end would be minimal. In fact, Kazuma also thought about telling the 3rd Hokage about this matter directly. But if he told the 3rd Hokage would be on guard. Orochimaru would not be able to cause any trouble, and he would not be able to kill Danzo in the chaos. So Kazuma came up with this best of both worlds. It can not only let Orochimaru cause chaos in Konoha, but also let him kill Danzo. And this chaos can be controlled, and there will not be too many casualties. And after killing Danzo, he can also help Konoha resist the attack of Orochimaru. Just when Kazuma made a plan and was ready to show his skills in the Chunin exam, suddenly, he was called to the office by the 3rd Hokage. Kazuma, you don't have to participate in this Chunin exam with your strength, you can directly become a Jonin. Kazuma didn't expect the 3rd Hokage to open a back door for him. Therefore, when he heard the 3rd Hokage's words, Kazuma was immediately a little embarrassed. He knew that the 3rd Hokage was thinking about him. Because with his current strength, he could participate in the Chunin exam. To put it bluntly, it is a complete waste of time for the full-level characters to massacre the novice village. But if Kazuma wants to improve his strength now, he must fight against different ninjas and absorb different ninjutsu. So this Chunin exam is a great opportunity for Kazuma to improve his strength. Thank you for your kindness, Hokage-sama. But if I advance directly, I'm afraid people will gossip about me, and it will also affect your prestige, Hokage-sama, so you should let me take the exam. Well, since you are not afraid of trouble, then you and Team 7 can participate together. Seeing that Kazuma was unwilling to make exceptions and would also think about himself, the 3rd Hokage was quite relieved. If you are not too young, I would really like to pass the position of Hokage to you. Looking at Kazuma's departing back, the 3rd Hokage immediately murmured inside. Chapter 32, Sasuke intent on pretending. Not long after, Kakashi handed the application form for the Chunin exam to Kazuma and others. Kazuma had expected that he would take part in the Chunin exam, so he was not too excited. But Naruto on the side was jumping for joy. Because Naruto is very willing to participate in any occasion where he can be in the limelight. During the Chunin exam, there will definitely be many powerful Jonin. I'm so scared. Sakura, the weakest among the few, naturally felt a little hesitant about taking part in the Chunin exam. Don't worry, Sakura, you don't have to be afraid with me here, Kazuma-kun. Hearing Kazuma's comfort, Sakura immediately cast a loving look at Kazuma. Damn it. This guy stole my limelight again. Seeing that Sakura was no longer obsessed with him, but was attracted to Kazuma, Sasuke was a little indignant. Because he had already regarded Kazuma as his target to catch up. So he wanted to compete with Kazuma in everything. Are you trash also qualified to take part in the Chunin exam? I think you should go home to your mother as soon as possible. Haha. As soon as Kazuma and others arrived at the Chunin exam hall, then he saw Xiaoli and Bian being knocked to the ground by several Jonin. Damn it. How dare you bully others? Naruto, who likes to stand up for the weak, immediately stepped forward to stop them. But Kazuma stopped him immediately. Forget it, Naruto, they were knocked to the ground on purpose. What? Naruto was confused after hearing what Kazama said. Because they want to hide their strength, Kazama said and walked in front of the ninjas who were shouting crazily. Please make way, we want to go to the third examination room. Just now, those two guys asked us to make way, but in the end we beat them up. Yes, you guys can go through if you want, but you have to get under our crotch, haha. Due to the fierce competition in the Chunin exam, many people want to give each other a head start before the exam in this way. No one will dare to compete with them in the subsequent assessments. Okay. Now it's my turn to play. Sasuke was happy at this time. Before Kazama spoke, he took the lead to kill the two. Because it was always Kazama who showed off in the past, this time he wanted to show off in front of Kazama. Let everyone look at him with new eyes. But at this moment, Xiaoli, who was knocked to the ground before, stood up instantly. With one punch, he knocked down the people who were fighting with Sasuke. Asshole! How dare you steal my limelight? Sasuke couldn't help but curse Xiaoli in his heart. Xiaoli, didn't you say you wanted to hide your strength? Xianshan immediately said angrily. What? This guy was really knocked to the ground on purpose just now. Hearing Xianshan's words, and seeing the boy's current performance, Sasuke was shocked. But he was not surprised by Xiaoli, but by Kazama. Because Kazama said at the beginning that Xiaoli was knocked to the ground on purpose. At that time, Sasuke sneered and didn't want to believe it. But now all of this has been said by Kazama. Kazama's inside is too strong. Just when Sasuke was envious and jealous of Kazama, Xiaoli had already come to Sakura. Please date me. It turns out that Lee has a crush on Sakura, so he wanted to show off in front of Sakura just now. What the hell? Sakura almost fell down after hearing that. I don't like guys with thick eyebrows, and I already have someone I like. Sakura said and looked at Kazama beside her. Is it you? What's your name? Seeing that Sakura likes Kazama, Lee immediately looked at Kazama again. Before asking someone's name, shouldn't you introduce yourself first? Rock Lee, Sanada Kazama, you are Sanada Kazama. Hearing Kazama's name, Lee couldn't help but be shocked. Because the news that Kazama beat Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro had spread throughout Konoha. I heard that you used to be the last in the ninja school, but now you can beat 3 ninjas from the Sand Village. You are indeed a genius, otherwise you would not have become so powerful in such a short time. I want to compete with you to see if you are really a genuine genius. My Uchiha clan is the undisputed genius family. If you want to compete, try it with me first. In order to prevent Kazama from stealing his limelight again, Sasuke immediately stood up. Chapter 33, Sasuke fails to show off. Okay. Then I'll use you, the genius of the Uchiha clan, as my appetizer, asshole. How dare you look down on me? Sasuke roared and immediately rushed towards Xiaoli. Because he had always been suppressed by Kazama, Sasuke had no place to vent his anger. Now he saw a guy with thick eyebrows wearing tights, who dared to look down on him. Sasuke was naturally furious. The momentum is good, but it's a pity that the action is too slow. Konoha whirlwind, Xiaoli kicked Sasuke directly into the air with a spinning upper kick. Konoha fierce wind, then a lower kick kicked Sasuke to the ground again. Just these two moves, the powerful Sasuke was beaten with scars and had no power to fight back. This guy is even more powerful than Kazama's physical skills. Although Sasuke was shocked, he did not admit defeat. Instead, he immediately opened his double Mangekyō Sharingan. Since the opponent's movements are so fast, we can only use the Sharingan to see the opponent's attack route clearly. Unfortunately, even if Sasuke opened the Sharingan, in the subsequent duels, he was still beaten back by Xiaoli. At this time, even Sakura and Naruto were a little bit unbelievable. Because they have seen Sasuke's strength. Except for Kazama, no one has ever been able to beat Sasuke like this. You are too weak, there is no point in fighting again, Xiaoli said and looked at Kazama again. You should come, otherwise your companions will not be able to participate in the Chunin exam next time. Why is this so? The Sharingan can obviously see through physical skills. Why am I still defeated by him? Because his movements are too fast. Even if your Sharingan can see his attack route clearly, your body will not be able to react in time, Kazama said and helped Sasuke up. Next, it's my turn, huh? Finally you are here. Seeing Kazama on the court, Xiaoli was extremely excited. At the beginning, he launched an all-round attack such as the Konoha Great Cyclone. At this time, Feng Jian stood in place without dodging. Instead, he immediately summoned the strange fire Zhuan Wangyan and surrounded it around his body. Because Zhuan Wangyan has extremely strong defensive power, so it is perfect to deal with Xiao Li's physical attack. Using fire escape to defend? This guy is not crazy, right? Seeing Feng Jian's action, everyone laughed at Feng Jian. After all, in everyone's eyes, fire escape is used for attack, how can it be used for defense? But they don't know that Feng Jian's fire escape is not an ordinary fire, but a destructive fire. Bang! Just when everyone thought that Xiao Li could easily defeat Feng Jian. But they never thought that Xiao Li's roundhouse kick couldn't even break the fire escape around Feng Jian's body. Not to mention shaking Feng Jian's body. What? What kind of fire escape is this kid using? And the defense is so strong. Along with the exclamation of everyone, Xiao Li also felt incredible. Because the moment he hit Feng Jian's Zhuan Wangyan just now, it felt like hitting a hard stone. Not only was he unable to break through the opponent's defense, but even his right foot was aching. Impossible, I don't believe I can't break through your defense. Konoha Rising Wind, Power Prelude, Xiao Li said as he used two more powerful moves in succession. But the result was the same, he still couldn't break through Feng Jian's Zhuan Huangyan. Chapter 34, Beat Xiao Li to Shakukai. Although Kazama did not attack from beginning to end, but anyone with a discerning eye could see that the gap between Li and Kazama was not a little bit. Because you can't even break his defense, how can you fight him? Balianhua, Li shouted angrily, and the Shangman and Zinuman were all opened. When Kazama saw this, he was delighted and immediately removed the Zhuan Huangyan defense around his body. The purpose was to absorb Li's Balianhua. In this way, he could obtain the power of the 8 gates. You must know that the strength after the 8 gates are fully opened is more than 10 times stronger than that of a cage-level ninja. Because Kazama removed his defense, he was instantly kicked into the air by Li. Is Li crazy? He actually used his ultimate move in advance. At this time, Hyuga Niji was also attracted by the fight between Li and Kazama. There is no way, after all, the opponent is a genius known as a demon, Sanada Kazama, Shianshin murmured inside. But Kazama's previous fire defense has disappeared. It seems that he can't resist Li's outer lotus. In this way, Kazama will not be able to participate in the Chunin exam, and we will lose a strong opponent, just when Niji and Tenten thought that Kazama would definitely lose. Kazama, who was kicked into the air by Li, immediately showed a sly smile. Because he had absorbed Li's outer lotus. Ling. The absorption of the outer lotus is successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the inner lotus and gaining the power to open the 3rd gate of life, Ling. The host can obtain the 4th kind of strange fire if he absorbs 2 more ninjutsu. Just when Li was about to knock Kazama to the ground in an inverted posture, the Zhuan Huangyan appeared around Kazama's body again. After being burned by the Zhuan Huangyan, Li had to stop the next attack. Damn. You are just one step away from defeating Kazama. Tenten immediately felt sorry for Li. Your defense is indeed very strong, but you have never taken the initiative to attack from beginning to end. Can you only defend? After hearing what Li said, Kazama immediately laughed. I'm worried that I'll hit you too hard. If I cripple you, how can you take part in the next Chunin exam? Then I'll voluntarily give up my qualification for the exam, okay? Li Lianhua, what? Li, Tenten, and Niji were all shocked at this moment. Because besides Li, only their teacher Might Guy can use Li Lianhua. But now Kazama has also used this move. Just when Li was shocked, Kazama's supersonic attack was already coming towards him. Is this the gap between me and the genius? It seems that I have no chance to take part in this Chunin exam. Li knew very well how terrifying the lethality of Li Lianhua was, and he had no way to avoid it. At this critical moment, a blue figure immediately blocked Li, and perfectly resolved Kazama's attack. The person who came was naturally the teacher of Li, Tenten, and Niji. Might Guy, known as the Blue Beast of Konoha. But in the eyes of outsiders, he easily resolved Kazama's Li Lianhua. But Might Guy knew that it was not easy for him to resolve Kazama's attack. Because all of Kazama's attacks were accompanied by fire damage. And now the yin-yang dual flames that Kazama mastered were hundreds of times more powerful than the previous Zhuan flames. Especially the power of yin fire, which could make the enemy's body disappear. This was because Kazama showed mercy. Because he knew that Might Guy had been hiding around. He would definitely save Li at the critical moment. Otherwise, not to mention Li, even Might Guy would be burned into nothingness by the yin fire. As expected of Kakashi's student, he is really amazing. Damn. There's a guy with thicker eyebrows than Lee, Naruto exclaimed after seeing this. Shut up. Don't laugh at Teacher Kai, you should shut up. Your eyebrows are thick enough, and there is a teacher with thicker eyebrows than yours. How should I react? Although Naruto's strength is not good now, no one is his opponent when it comes to talking. Okay, you guys should hurry to the exam room. Master, I lost. Zio Lee looked quite disappointed after seeing Feng Jian and the other two leave. Don't be discouraged, Zio Lee. It's not shameful to lose to him. Why? Just when Zio Lee was confused, suddenly, he saw Teacher Akai's hands, which were covered in blood because he resisted Feng Jian's inner lotus. He understood everything. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35, Don't be afraid of the monthly exam. Hokage-sama. Can I not be the examiner for the first exam? Just as Kazama and other genin were waiting for the examiner to arrive in the exam room, Marino Ibuki, the examiner for the first exam, came to the office of the third Hokage. What's wrong, Ibuki? Haven't you been the examiner for the first exam in previous years? The third Hokage was puzzled. But this year there is an additional Kazama Sanada. This guy is a monster. The first exam is a written exam. In order to make the people in the group pass the exam, this guy will definitely use Tsuku Aomi on me. I can't handle it. Ibuki had seen with his own eyes that Kazama used Tsuku Aomi on the person who attacked the Konoha hospital. After a few seconds, the person became a psychopath. Ibuki still has lingering fears when he thinks of this terrifying illusion attack. Hearing Ibuki's concerns, the third Hokage immediately smiled awkwardly. You worry too much? After all, you are their chief examiner. Kazama will not go too far with you. Don't worry, I don't trust you. You are a bad old man, Ibuki immediately complained in his heart. Because he heard that Kazama had used Tsuku Aomi on Kaoru and Midakato and in front of the third Hokage. As a result, the two of them are still a little confused. Since Kazama doesn't even take Konoha's senior advisors seriously, let alone himself. But he didn't dare to disobey the orders of the third Hokage. So he had to bite the bullet and come to the examination room. The first written test will last for 1 hour. If you are caught cheating, all the people in the same group will be disqualified from the exam. What? Written test? What I fear most is the written test. Naruto started to howl. But Kazama knew that the real purpose of this written test was not to write an ordinary test paper. It was to test everyone's intelligence search ability. In other words, you are allowed to cheat in the exam, but you can't be caught by the invigilator. At this time, Ibuki put on a blindfold directly after announcing the start of the exam. This really confused everyone present. Even Ibuki's subordinates didn't know what their boss was doing. After all, Ibuki had never done this in previous years. Huh? Did this guy Ibuki take precautions against me from the beginning? Kazama was amused when he saw it. Because Ibuki did this, it was obvious that he wanted to stop him from using Tsuku Aomi on him. It's a pity that you underestimate my Mangekyō Sharingan, Tsuku Aomi. The moment Ibuki put on the blindfold, he had already entered Kazama's Tsuku Aomi world. Oh no. This is, Teacher Ibuki, welcome to my Tsuku Aomi illusion spacetime. What you fear is coming true, Ibuki wailed. And it can be said that he wanted to cry but had no tears. I'm afraid that only Kazama could abuse Ibuki, an expert in interrogation, like this. Teacher Ibuki, I won't waste any more words. I'm sure you know the situation in this world of Tsuku Aomi very well. So my request is that Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, and I pass this exam, otherwise, I can only have fun with you for this hour. But an hour outside is a year in the world of Tsuku Aomi. Are you ready? Following Kazama's sneer, various bloody torture instruments immediately appeared in front of Ibuki, and they were all used by him before. Okay, I'm convinced. Isn't that enough? Thank you, Teacher Ibuki. Then Kazama lay directly on the table and fell asleep. Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura on the side were sweating profusely because they couldn't understand the questions on the test paper. It's over. Are we going to be eliminated in the first test? Just when Sasuke was crying out to the sky and the earth. But no one answered. The test time was over. What he didn't expect was that the chief examiner Ibuki actually announced that all of their group had passed the test. This was far beyond Sasuke's expectations. The main purpose of this exam is to test your ability to collect intelligence. Only experts in collecting intelligence can pass the exam. After hearing what Ibiki said, Sasuke finally understood the true meaning of this exam, but he hadn't done anything before, and even forgot to cheat. Why can he pass the exam now? So Sasuke immediately asked Ibiki this question. This? You are thanks to Kazama. What do you mean? Hearing Sasuke's repeated questioning, Ibiki obviously didn't want to say more. You should ask him yourself. Sasuke naturally couldn't save face and asked Kazama. But when he saw Kazama's relaxed look at this time, he knew that Kazama had left him far behind in every aspect. Chapter 36, Seizing the Book of Heaven and the Book of Earth at the beginning. Great. I passed the first level safely. Naruto, who was a bit nervous, didn't care about that. For him, as long as he passed the exam, it was fine. Huh? You're too happy too early. At this time, a beautiful figure immediately appeared in front of everyone. I'm the second examiner, Mangekyō. The second exam is waiting for you. Follow me. Hey. It seems that no one is paying attention to you. Hearing Ibiki's ridicule behind her, Anko was quite embarrassed. Because she appeared too suddenly, everyone was stunned. This is your second examination room, the Death Forest, under the leadership of Mangekyō. Kazama and other Jonin came to the forest on the back mountain of Konoha village, one after another. The mission rules are very simple. I will give each of your groups the Book of Heaven or the Book of Earth. If you want to pass the final assessment, each team must hold the 2 scrolls of the Book of Heaven and the Book of Earth at the same time and reach the mission terminal tower, otherwise it will be considered eliminated. Without further ado, start now. With Anko's order, everyone immediately entered the Death Forest one after another. Next we have to make a plan, and first of all, make sure that no one else can take away our Book of Heaven. Sasuke immediately acted as the boss after he came in, and began to assign tasks to Kazama and others in a very orderly manner. Kazama-kun, what should we do next? Yes, Kazama, tell me, I'll listen to you. But at this time, Sakura and Naruto didn't pay any attention to Sasuke at all, but all asked Kazama. Damn, he actually dared to ignore my existence. Sasuke was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. It's useless to ask him. Even if he is powerful, he can't deal with hundreds of contestants at the same time, right? Besides, this forest is very large. If the other party hides, you will have to look for him for 10 days or half a month. You are wrong, Sasuke. Sanada Kazama, I'm best at fighting 1 against 10,000, and this forest is my home court, haha. I don't believe you. At this time, Sasuke hadn't finished speaking, and the next scene suddenly made him open his eyes wide. 10,000 beasts spirit fire. Kazama waved his hand and created thousands of beasts. Go and get the Book of Heaven and the Book of Earth back. Following Kazama's order, these beasts made of the spirit fire of all beasts immediately scattered. Then, in the forest of death, all kinds of wailing, cursing, and crying were heard one after another. After a few minutes, a large pile of Book of Heaven and Book of Earth were piled up in front of Kazama and others. Pick whatever you want, take whatever you want, take whichever one you like. Kazama, it's so happy to follow you. Kazama, I admire you so much. Naruto and Sakura were already very happy, and they felt like they were dreaming at this moment. Other teams were racking their brains to snatch the Book of Heaven or Book of Earth from each other. But there was a large pile in front of them. If other contestants saw this, they would probably be so angry that they would vomit blood on the spot. At this time, Sasuke felt a burning pain on his face. Because this is the feeling of being slapped in the face at the speed of light. Does this mean that our mission is complete? Not yet, because there is another enemy in this forest of death that I must deal with. Another enemy. Hearing what Kazama said, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were all confused. The enemy that Kazama was talking about was Orochimaru, who had sneaked into the forest of death. Chapter 37, Preparing to beat Orochimaru. Kazama knew that it would not be long before Orochimaru would lead his men to attack Konoha. So Kazama decided to beat Orochimaru half to death first. In this way, Orochimaru would not be able to defeat the third Hokage next time. He could also take this opportunity to absorb Orochimaru's ninjutsu. Although Kazama's strength is strong enough now, but he has only obtained 3 of the 22 kinds of strange fire. So he must keep absorbing ninjutsu to exchange for strange fire. Wood release multiple clone technique. 300 wood release clones immediately appeared around Kazama. Kazama, you were able to cast thousands of wood release clones at once before. Why are there only a few hundred now? Hearing Naruto's question, Kazama immediately smiled meaningfully. Because the next technique is not suitable for too many clones to appear. Why? Because I'm afraid that this death forest will be razed to the ground. Fire style, fire dragon flame bomb, water style, heaven's cry, wind style, great Saididachi, sand style, sand falls funeral, thunder style, Kirin. 300 wood style clones perform these A level and S level ninjutsu one after another. What is this concept? What kind of scene is this? Words can no longer describe it. I can only express the shock at this moment through Naruto's 2 words, oh my god. What's going on? Could it be an invasion by foreign enemies? The chief examiner Hongdao outside the forest was directly shocked by the violent power in the forest. The other examiners who heard the news were also shocked. Under such violent power, won't all the candidates in the forest die without a burial place? Hurry up and notify the 3rd Hokage. No need, the Hokage already knows about this. At this time, several Anbu ninjas had arrived here. The Hokage ordered us to continue the examination. Don't panic, but the situation here is obviously not caused by a Jinan. Red Bean was very confused about the 3rd Hokage's order. It was caused by a Jinan. His name is Sanada Kazama. The 3rd Hokage knew Kazama's strength very well, so he was not surprised by the situation in the Death Forest. Sanada Kazama. It's the Sanada Kazama who killed 3 root ninjas. Hearing the words of the Anbu, Red Bean was shocked. Oh my god. This kind of monster can be promoted to a Jonin directly, but he actually came to participate in the Jinan exam. Isn't this a full-level account to bully the novice village? And now Kazama has only one purpose for performing this technique. That is to find the trace of Orochimaru. Am I in the right place? Is this still the Chunin exam? Orochimaru, who is looking for Sasuke, was caught off guard and was beaten by Kazama's bombardment. Found you. At this time, a wood-style clone of Kazama immediately came to Orochimaru. Kid, did you cause the situation just now? Orochimaru said as he stuck out his blood-red tongue. It seemed that he had already decided to kill Kazama. Yes. The purpose of my performing this technique was to find you, Orochimaru. You little brat actually knew my name. Tell me, what do you want from me? Orochimaru said as he tore off the human skin disguise. I want to beat you half to death so that you can't successfully destroy Konoha? Good boy, you know a lot of things, but you messed with the wrong person. Shadow Snake Hand. Seeing Orochimaru performing his special skill, Kazama did not dodge but met it instead. Because Kazama was ready to start beating Orochimaru in various ways. Chapter 38, using the 1000-year killing method on Orochimaru. The absorption of Hidden Shadow Snake Hand succeeded. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Hidden Shadow Multi-Snake Hand. If the host absorbs another ninjutsu, he will obtain the 4th kind of strange fire, the Netherworld Poison Fire. The Hidden Shadow Snake Hand is actually useless against this kid, seeing that his attack did not cause any damage to Kazama. Even the knowledgeable Orochimaru could not help but be secretly surprised. Hidden Shadow Multi-Snake Hand. But before Orochimaru could react, Kazama immediately used another of Orochimaru's famous skills. Orochimaru was so scared that he quickly flew to avoid it. Who are you, kid? You can actually use my technique. Orochimaru knew that Kazama was not simple, which could be seen from the bombardment in the forest just now. But Orochimaru did not expect that Kazama would actually use his trump card. This was simply unbelievable to him. I know many techniques. Now I'll show you another technique of mine. And this technique is what you've always dreamed of, Kazama said as he opened his Mangekyō Sharingan. This is it. Seeing Kazama's eyes, Orochimaru was surprised and delighted. My luck is so good. I wanted to catch Sasuke, but I didn't expect your eyes to be even more powerful than Sasuke's Sharingan. Since you're looking for death, don't blame me. Summoning technique. Mangekyō. Orochimaru knew that since Kazama had the Mangekyō Sharingan, he couldn't be careless anymore. So he immediately summoned his strongest summoning beast. As Orochimaru made a seal, a blue snake with the same size as the tailed beast appeared in front of Kazama in an instant. Orochimaru, can't you handle a little kid? How dare you summon me? Although Mangekyō is very powerful, he has an extremely bad temper. Seeing that his opponent was actually a Jinan of 11 or 12 years old, he immediately scolded Orochimaru. HMPH. Look carefully, this kid has a Mangekyō Sharingan, and these eyes are not easy to deal with. Don't blame me for being mean, kid. After all, your strength has exceeded my imagination. Okay, I won't say you're mean. As soon as Kazama finished speaking, the other wood release clones also came here. There were hundreds of them. Don't blame me for being mean. After all, you are Orochimaru, one of the three ninjas, HMPH. The clones can only display 1/10 of the power of the original body at most. You are clearly looking for death. Seeing so many clones of Kazama, Orochimaru laughed instead of getting angry. But the next moment his smile froze. Because he saw that these clones of Kazama all displayed the Mangekyō Sharingan. Amaterasu, with a sneer from Kazama. These hundreds of wood-release clones all displayed Amaterasu's black flame. At this time, not to mention Orochimaru, even the huge snake was stunned and stood there. Because the Amaterasu cast by these hundreds of clones was already taller than its body. These clones of mine are not ordinary clones, but would-release clones, and my current body is also a clone. Orochimaru, you bastard. What the hell did you find as your opponent? Without saying anything, Watch immediately turned into smoke and fled. Bastard, when he saw that Kazama, who he had been fighting for most of the day, was just a wood-release clone. He saw that these hundreds of wood-release clones of Kazama had cast Amaterasu on him. How could he fight? This was clearly a crushing force. Triple Rashomon. Orochimaru could only summon this strongest defense in order to give himself a chance to escape. Amaterasu 1,000 years of death, seeing that Orochimaru dared to run away with his back to him. Kazama sneered and immediately turned Amaterasu into a huge finger. He rushed directly to Orochimaru's secret part. At this time, a burst of ghosts and wolves howled in the forest. Just wait. I will never let you go. Orochimaru endured the pain and immediately performed the snake-style substitution technique. Because this substitution technique can avoid the power of Amaterasu. However, from then on, Orochimaru and Mizuki had one thing in common, that is, they would not be constipated. Chapter 39 How to Quickly Obtain Strange Fire. As Orochimaru escaped, Kazama knew that Orochimaru would not be able to destroy Konoha smoothly next. Although according to Orochimaru's hatred for Konoha, he would still attack Konoha. But the power was much smaller. Even if he might not be able to get away because of dealing with Danzo at that time, the third Hokage and many ninjas of Konoha village would not die. At this time, Kazama's real body immediately opened his eyes. How is it, Kazama, have you solved the enemy? Naruto immediately came up after seeing it. Solved? You are so powerful, Kazama, you defeated the enemy just by using your clones. If your real body went, wouldn't you cut the enemy into pieces? Of course, Kazama immediately smiled and nodded. Okay, now that the Book of Heaven and the Book of Earth have been obtained, and the enemy has been defeated, let's take these to the chief examiner to report. No problem, Naruto said, holding a stack of books of heaven and earth, and walked towards the end of the exam with high momentum. Damn it, but as soon as Feng-jian stood up, he immediately felt his eyes blurred again. And it lasted longer than the last time. Oh no. It seems that I had too much fun just now. Is this pair of Mangekyō Sharingan going to go blind? Thinking of this, Feng-jian immediately asked the system in his body. Because the host is not from the Uchiha clan, the chance of blindness when using the Mangekyō Sharingan is much greater than that of the Uchiha clan. Damn it, what should I do? Next, I will prepare to take revenge on Danzo. If this pair of eyes goes blind, how can I take revenge? The host must obtain the fifth kind of strange fire as soon as possible, the Blue Lotus Earth Core Fire. This strange fire can make the host clear his mind and eyesight and delay the symptoms of blindness, Blue Lotus Earth Core Fire. But now I haven't even obtained the fourth kind of Nether Poisonous Fire. How can I obtain the Blue Lotus Earth Core Fire in a short time? Just as Feng-jian was thinking hard. Suddenly, he saw a group of ninjas walking towards him, and they were all familiar faces. Niji's team, Shino's team, Shikamaru's team, and Gaara's Sand Village trio. Oh no. They must be here to take our Book of Heaven and Book of Earth. Sasuke immediately took out his kunai and prepared to fight. Don't panic, Sasuke. We have a lot of Book of Heaven and Book of Earth. It doesn't matter if we give them to them. Yes, Sasuke breathed a sigh of relief after hearing what Kazama said. Hey, Naruto, you have so many Book of Heaven and Book of Earth in your arms. Did you use those wolves and tigers that just took away our Book of Heaven and Earth technique? Inuzuka Kiba from Shino's team immediately asked Naruto in a bad mood. It's not me, it's our big brother Kazama. Don't come to steal them, otherwise our big brother Kazama will not forgive you. After hearing what Naruto said, most of the people here had seen the terrifying strength of Kazama. Therefore, everyone was stunned. If they fight, they can't win, but if they don't fight, they will be eliminated. Everyone is in a dilemma. I can share the Book of Heaven and the Book of Earth with you, but you have to promise me one thing, seeing so many ninjas gathered here at once. Kazama immediately came up with a way to obtain the Blue Lotus Earth Core Fire. That is to let them perform ninjutsu on him one by one. In addition to the Netherworld Poison Fire that is about to be obtained. As long as he absorbs 5 more ninjutsu, he can successfully obtain the Blue Lotus Earth Core Fire. Then his Mangekyō Sharingan will not be blind for the time being. Just tell me what it is. At this time, no matter what request Kazama made, everyone would agree. After all, they didn't want to be eliminated so soon. Chapter 40, Obtaining 2 kinds of strange fire in a row. Use your best ninjutsu and take turns to attack me. What? Everyone was surprised to hear Kazama's request. I don't have time to explain. If you want to get the Book of Heaven and the Book of Earth, then attack me immediately. Okay. I'll go first. Kanjiro, who was beaten black and blue by Kazama before, was eager to try. Although he didn't know why Kazama wanted to be beaten for no reason. But now that there's this opportunity, and the other party doesn't fight back, then it's useless not to fight. You, Gaara, Temari, don't make a move. What? Hearing what Kazama said, Kanjiro immediately muttered in a low voice. Damn it. I want to take this opportunity to say disgusting things, because Kazama had already absorbed the ninjutsu of Gaara and the other 2 before. So there is no point in absorbing it, it will only waste time. And Xiaoli, you don't have to do anything either, but don't worry, your team will also be given the Book of Heaven and the Book of Earth, okay? Then we'll get started. Shadow Binding Technique, Human Bomb Chariot, Yatuang Yat, Soft Fist Bagua 64 Palms, Secret Technique Parasitic Bug, Hidden Weapon Continuous Bomb, Ling. Congratulations on absorbing 6 ninjutsu in a row. The host has obtained the 4th Strange Fire, the Netherworld Poison Fire, and the 5th Strange Fire, the Blue Lotus Earth Core Fire. Is it finally done? Hearing the voice of the system, Kazama immediately breathed a sigh of relief. With the acquisition of the Blue Lotus Earth Core Fire, it means that his Mangekyō Sharingan, which is about to go blind, can finally hold on for a little longer. Damn. Is this guy still a human? At this time, Shikamaru, Niji, Shino and others who had used their own moves on Kazama were all stunned. Because Kazama was intact under their attack. And he didn't even move from his original position. Although they didn't use their full strength at the beginning, and they all deliberately avoided the vital points. They were just worried that they would kill Kazama again if they were not careful. But now it seems that their worries are unnecessary. Kazama is not afraid of their attacks at all. Is this guy a monster? Gaara, who has always been calm, couldn't help but feel terrified at Kazama's strength at this time. He only knew that his sand escape didn't work in front of Kazama. But he didn't know that Kazama could absorb all attacks. It seems that even if he successfully used Sand Escape on Kazama at the beginning, it would be useless. This guy said before that Orochimaru bewitched the 4th Kazekage. It seems that I really checked this matter carefully. This person is so powerful that he must not lie, Ling. If you want to absorb the Blue Lotus Earth Core Fire and delay the blindness of the Mangekyō Sharingan, it will take an hour. Should the host start absorbing it now, there is no time to lose, it can only start now. After Kazama made up his mind, he immediately gave orders to Naruto. Leave the Book of Heaven and the Book of Earth that we need, and give the rest to them, and then help me find a secret place. I have to rest for an hour before I can move. Oh, okay. Although he didn't know what happened to Kazama, Naruto could see that Kazama was indeed extremely weak. After everyone got the Book of Heaven and the Book of Earth, they naturally left here one after another and headed towards the destination, the tower. I don't know how Kazama-kun is doing. After taking Kazama to a secret place, Sakura seemed quite worried. Humph. Who let him show off? First he robbed a lot of heaven techniques and earth techniques, and then he used so many powerful ninjutsu and hundreds of wood release clones, making it seem like he was the only one who could fight in our Team 7. Sasuke glanced at Kazama behind him and immediately said coldly. Although he was also very worried about Kazama's condition, his personality made him not say anything caring. And he had long wanted to compete with other ninjas in this death forest. Who knew that Kazama took on all the responsibilities and stole the limelight? Therefore, Sasuke was naturally indignant. Sasuke, you are such an ungrateful guy. Do you think you can complete the mission successfully if you take action? Of course. As long as I take action, these Jinan will be completely subdued by me. Humph. You are young but you are so arrogant. Just as Sasuke and Naruto were arguing, 3 sound ninjas immediately came to them with a sneer. Chapter 41, Three-Colored Amaterasu. A bunch of small fry can actually survive until now, you are really lucky, the three sound ninjas said as they looked at Sasuke in the front. The three of them were ordered by Orochimaru to kill Sasuke. But they didn't know that their boss had been driven away by Kazama. Otherwise, they would not dare to come here even if they were very brave. Humph. I was just worried about having no place to vent my anger, and you just came to my door. Sasuke was overjoyed when he saw the ninjas coming to his door. Because he had long wanted to show his strength in front of Naruto and Sakura, and pretend to be cool. Let them look at him differently. Therefore, before the three sound ninjas took action, Sasuke actually rushed towards them first. Humph. You are quite brave, you dare to attack us. The target of these three sound ninjas was Sasuke. Therefore, seeing Sasuke coming to his door, they naturally sneered. Then they immediately used the sound wave attack that they were good at. Before Sasuke could react, his ears were ringing and the world was spinning. Then he felt that he was hit by countless attacks all over his body. Finally, he fell heavily to the ground. He was so fierce that he turned out to be a fool. How is it, kid? You wanted to show your face, but you showed your butt instead, right? Haha. Hearing the ridicule of the three Otonin, Sasuke was immediately angry. So he immediately opened his pair of Mangekyō Sharingan. Fire-style Great Fireball Jutsu, haha, are you serious? Seeing Sasuke's fire style coming towards him, the three were still not afraid. They still relied on their sonic attacks to completely defeat Sasuke's fire style. I say you are too rubbish, kid, you are still the Uchiha clan, I think you might as well be called the shit-eating clan asshole. How dare you insult my clan? Sasuke has always been proud of the Uchiha clan, and now hearing the three people cursing like this, he has been shaking with anger. Unfortunately, his strength was not enough to deal with these three people. Therefore, after several rounds, he was beaten back by these three people. Is this the strength of the Jonin who takes the exam? It's so powerful. At this time, Sasuke finally realized how insignificant his strength was compared to other Jonin. It turned out that it was Kazama who had been carrying them forward. Otherwise, they couldn't even pass the first level. Damn it. How dare you bully my companions? Take your dirty hands away. Naruto immediately used his specialty shadow clone technique. Although he and Sasuke often quarreled, Naruto would not let his companions be bullied at the critical moment. Haha, here comes another short and fat guy who is not afraid of death, assholes. I'll kill you. With Naruto's roar, dozens of shadow clones immediately rushed towards the three sound ninjas. It's a pity that Naruto has not yet mastered the essence of shadow clones. So the final result was the same as Sasuke, and they were all beaten black and blue. Come on. Shadow clone technique. Naruto was a tough ninja, so he used more shadow clones, preparing to give the enemy a round-robin battle. But before he could act, the enemy found his real body and knocked Naruto to the ground. You are all trash, the three sound ninjas said as they stepped on Naruto and Sasuke's faces. Please let us go. I will give you the Book of Heaven and the Book of Earth right now. Seeing that Naruto and Sasuke were defeated in an instant, Sakura was already shaking with fear. Oh, I didn't notice there was a little beauty here, one of the sound ninjas said as he walked over with a smirk on his face. Our mission is to kill Sasuke, and leave after the mission is completed. Why are you in such a hurry? Let me rape you first. Hearing the enemy's words, Sakura was so scared that she fainted. Fainted? It's more fun to faint, haha. You bastards. Naruto and Sasuke immediately went to stop them. Unfortunately, they were too seriously injured and could no longer move. You two just lie there and watch me show my masculinity, haha. Amaterasu. At this critical moment, a three-colored flame appeared out of thin air and instantly burned the sound ninja into nothingness. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42, Revenge officially begins. What the hell is this technique? It's so terrifying, seeing that their companion was still alive and kicking just now, but was burned into nothingness in an instant. The remaining two sound ninjas immediately felt a breath of death. This technique is called Amaterasu. But it has surpassed the ordinary Amaterasu. After successfully integrating the Blue Lotus Earth Core Fire, Kazama said while picking up the unconscious Sakura. Kazama, Naruto, who is not far away, saw Kazuma's appearance and immediately shouted to him excitedly. Even Sasuke, who had always been dissatisfied with Kazama, was excited at this moment. Because during the time when Kazama was not around just now, Sasuke really felt the importance of Kazama. Without Kazama, he could not move an inch in this forest of death. Stop talking nonsense. Although the two sound ninjas on the opposite side were panicked, they still did not take Kazama seriously. They thought that it was because their companion was careless before that he was killed by Kazama. Now that the two of them are on guard, they will never be defeated by Kazama. One moment you say Amaterasu, the next moment you say it's not just any Amaterasu. Fuck your mother, that's right, you can't even name your own ninjutsu, and you're still trying to show off in front of us sound ninjas. Eat shit, you saw these two sound ninjas were about to die, and they still dared to act arrogant in front of you. Kazama couldn't help but sneer. It's very easy to kill you two clowns, but you seriously injured my companions, so before you die, I want you to see what real terror is. Haha, fuck your mother. We grew up scared, we've seen all kinds of horror, just as these two sound ninjas, who didn't know how to live or die, kept cursing at Kazama. Suddenly, the illusory red skeleton appeared around Kazama's body. Then the skeleton was covered with meridians, armor, and wings on the legs and back. The mountain-like body has taken shape, and a momentum that is even more powerful than the tailed beast's is born. Even the huge forest of death seems so small compared to Kazama's trick. How powerful is this guy Kazama? The third Hokage, who was watching the death forest exam with a crystal ball, was also attracted by Kazama's amazing performance. I'm afraid even I can't match this kind of strength. Just as the third Hokage was shocked, cracks appeared in the crystal ball in front of him. Is this Susanoo, which is called the power of God and will kill you if you see it once? Sasuke, a member of the Uchiha clan, once again witnessed the forbidden technique of his family. However, this time, the Susanoo was even bigger and more terrifying than the one in the Land of Waves. This is the complete Susanoo, as if hearing Sasuke's exclamation, with Kazama's low moan. The two ant-like Odanin below had already collapsed on the ground in fear, their eyes dull. Originally, why use a butcher knife to kill a chicken? But I, Sanada Kazama, like to use a butcher knife to kill a chicken. As the two huge Susanoo swords fell instantly, the power to destroy the world also came with a bang. Not to mention the two Odanin below, even the entire death forest was razed to the ground in an instant. Is this kid crazy? Isn't it enough to just pretend to participate in a Chunin exam? Is it necessary to make such a big scene? The third Hokage felt helpless. He could only lead the many Anbu ninjas to the death forest and cast a barrier to prevent the powerful destructive power of the complete Susanoo from destroying Konoha. Here comes the signal from Lord Kazama. Zabuza and Haku, who had been waiting outside Konoha, immediately took advantage of the chaos and successfully sneaked into Konoha village. It turned out that Kazama's use of the complete Susanoo was not a temporary idea, but a premeditated one. He just wanted to cause chaos so that Zabuza and Haku could successfully sneak into Konoha. Because Kazama's revenge on Danzo was about to begin. Chapter 43, Preparing to Absorb Izanami. Next is the wood clone. While the power of his Susanoo had not completely dissipated, Kazama immediately used the wood clone to continue the Chunin exam to conceal his tracks. His original body took advantage of everyone's inattention and left the forest of death. Lord Kazama, after seeing Kazama appear, Zabuza and Haku breathed a sigh of relief. After all, there were so many masters in Konoha village. If Kazama was not by their side, the two of them would not be able to move forward. The third Hokage and most of the ninjas of Konoha have been led to the forest of death by me. We should act now without delay. Okay, Zabuza and Haku immediately followed behind Kazama and headed towards the roots of Danzo. Originally, Kazama wanted to wait until Orochimaru attacked Konoha and caused a commotion before taking action. But then Kazama thought about how Orochimaru was beaten half to death by him. He didn't know when he would extend the action. Moreover, his Mangekyō Sharingan, although with the help of the Blue Lotus Earth Core Fire, delayed his blindness. But it is not a long-term solution after all. So I must get Danzo's Sharingan as soon as possible and merge it into the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan. And Kazama has already made a plan. That is to use all his strength from the beginning to force Danzo to use Izanami. Taking advantage of the situation, I will absorb the power of Izanami and will definitely gain the power of Izanami. Because Izanami and Izanami complement each other. As long as I use Izanami to determine Danzo's fate, then I can merge the remaining 10 Sharingans. and Zabuza and Haku can help me resist Danzo's men. Let me be able to deal with Danzo with all my strength. Remember, your main task is to contain the enemy and not let them help Danzo. If your life is really in danger, you can evacuate immediately. Don't worry, Lord Kazama. We will definitely complete the task. Seeing that Kazama values their lives so much, he actually said that they can evacuate on their own if their lives are in danger. Zabuza and Haku were quite moved. After all, as a ninja, dying to complete the mission is their duty. Now with Kazama's words, Zabuza and Haku will not flee in danger, and they will be more devoted to Kazama. Orochimaru is here too. Kazama immediately sensed that both Danzo and Orochimaru were at the root. It seems that Danzo is also one of the masterminds behind the plan to destroy Konoha. You didn't tell me that there was a monster in Konoha, and I almost capsized in the gutter. Hearing Orochimaru's complaint, Danzo immediately sneered. He knew that the monster Orochimaru was referring to was Sanada Kazama. Because everyone in Konoha knew about the situation that Kazama had caused in the Forest of Death. A mere Sanada Kazama scared you like this. Is this still Orochimaru, one of the three ninjas? Don't talk nonsense to me. I just want to ask you, how can we carry out the action of killing the third generation with the monster Sanada Kazama here? Don't worry, you still proceed according to the original plan, and I will deal with Sanada Kazama. Can you deal with it? After Sanada Kazama arrived, he immediately used the Amaterasu that contained three kinds of fire, namely Yin-Yang Dual Flame, Netherworld Poison Fire, and Blue Lotus Earth Core Fire. Orochimaru had suffered a great loss at the hands of Kazama. Now he saw that Kazama's Amaterasu was even more powerful than before. Naturally, he was still frightened, so he ran away. Danzo, I'll leave this monster to you, haha, asshole. Seeing Orochimaru running away, Danzo cursed inwardly while dodging Kazama's three-colored Amaterasu at a very fast speed. Chapter 44, Playing with Danzo and Upgrading Crazily. Kazama's Amaterasu contains three kinds of strange fire. How can Danzo resist it? At this time, Danzo hurriedly used his wood-style clone, which barely blocked Kazama's three-color Amaterasu. That's right. Danzo transplanted the cells of the first generation of Hokage and can use wood-style, but I only have one wood-style clone now. In this case, it is better to take advantage of Danzo's life and force him to use wood-style to attack me, so that I can obtain a higher level of wood-style ninjutsu. Danzo's wind style is also very powerful. Well, then force him to use all of them, so that I can absorb them all. Now in Kazama's eyes, Danzo has become the elixir for Kazama to improve his strength. I didn't expect that the waste of the Sanada clan actually has such a strong strength. Even though Danzo was forced to retreat again and again by Kazama, he still didn't take Kazama seriously. Because in Danzo's eyes, the Sanada clan is garbage. And Sanada Kazama, the last one, is garbage among garbage. Now that I've forced you to flee in a panic, who is the rubbish? Kazama deliberately let the fire of Amaterasu chase Danzo, but at the same time did not cause any harm to Danzo. The purpose was to tease Danzo and then force Danzo to perform ninjutsu on him. In this way, he could take advantage of the situation to absorb and obtain a higher level of ninjutsu. You little bastard, you think I'm a sick cat when the tiger doesn't show its power. Seeing that he was forced into such a panic by a little brat like Kazama, Danzo immediately became angry and embarrassed. He didn't care whether he was Kazama's opponent now. He just used all his skills and vowed to compete with Kazama. Would release explosive spear tree. Danzo's right arm immediately turned into a giant tree, and instantly attacked Kazama head-on. This technique is an attack and defense in one, which can not only attack the enemy, but also defend against the enemy's counterattack. If an ordinary person encounters it, he will be skinned alive even if he doesn't die. Now Danzo encounters Kazama, who can absorb and be immune to all ninjutsu. Therefore, his wood release seems awesome, but it can't cause any harm to Kazama. Therefore, Kazama doesn't need to dodge at all, but allows Danzo's wood release to attack him. Ling. Successfully absorbed wood release burst gun tree. Congratulations to the host for obtaining wood release tree root burst. This technique can cast a giant tree to surround the enemy and explode instantly. Ling. The host absorbs 5 more ninjutsu, and then you can obtain the 6th kind of strange fire, Wind Fury Dragon Flame. Seeing that he not only obtained a new wood release ninjutsu, and he is about to obtain the 6th kind of strange fire, Kazama is naturally overjoyed. Your wood release is too rubbish. Let's take a look at my wood release next. Tree root burst. At this time, Danzo was still wondering why Kazama was not injured by his wood release. Now he saw that Kazama actually performed a ninjutsu that was more powerful than his previous wood release. This immediately made him even more unbelievable. Because the reason why he can perform wood release now is because he transplanted the cells of the first generation of Hokage. But why can Kazama also perform wood release? At this time, Danzo was extremely confused. But now he had no time to think. Because the wood escape of Kazama was already whistling towards him. Wind escape vacuum wave. Danzo saw it and hurriedly used wind escape to block it. Come on, Kazama took the lead at this time and immediately absorbed Danzo's wind escape into his body. Ling. Successfully absorbed the wind escape vacuum wave. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the vacuum wave, Ling. Absorb 4 more ninjutsu, and you will get the 6th kind of strange fire. You can actually absorb ninjutsu. Only then did Danzo really feel the horror of Kazama. Because if a ninja can absorb ninjutsu, then he will be invincible. No matter how he attacks, he can't hurt the opponent. Not only can I absorb ninjutsu, I can also use the enemy's ninjutsu for my own use. Impossible. How can a scum like you have such a heaven-defying ability? Hearing what Kazama said, Danzo immediately fell into madness. He couldn't accept that he, who had the first generation of cells, couldn't actually defeat a garbage in his eyes. Wind-style vacuum jade, Danzo roared, and immediately shot out wind-style chakra like bullets. I've said it before, you are powerless in front of me, but since you insist on using ninjutsu on me, I will accept it without hesitation, Ling. Successfully absorbed the wind-style vacuum jade. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the wind-style vacuum jade, Ling. Absorb 3 more ninjutsu, and you will obtain the 6th kind of strange fire. Look at my wind-style vacuum jade. If Danzo's previous wind-style was a bullet, then the wind-style vacuum jade that Kazama used now was like a cannonball. And it was a continuous cannonball attack. In a few moments, Danzo was beaten with scars. Seeing that he had only fought with Danzo for a few rounds, he actually gained so many skills. Kazama was ecstatic. If it weren't for the limited time, he was worried that Danzo's reinforcements would arrive. Kazama really wanted to tease Danzo a little more. At this time, Danzo was also fed up with Kazama's beating. So he immediately untied the bandage on his right arm, revealing all 10 Sharingan. 45th, absorb Ice Energy to open Ice Enemy. Are you going to use Ice Energy? This move by Danzo was what Kazama needed. Okay. Then I'll add fuel to the fire. Once Kazama used his Mangekyō Sharingan, Susanoo immediately covered his entire body. But now Kazama did not use the complete Susanoo. Because this is the center of Konoha. The complete Susanoo is too huge and will definitely attract the attention of Konoha ninjas. If they don't know what's going on and come to help Danzo, he will be in a passive position. Not only do you have the Mangekyō Sharingan, but now you have even mastered Susanoo. Orochimaru is right, you are really a monster, Danzo. You've had enough fun. Today is the day you die. Kazama stopped talking nonsense and immediately used all the ninjutsu he had mastered so far. 3 colors of Amaterasu, Thunder-style Kirin, Water-style Heaven's Cry, Wind-style Vacuum Great Ball, Wood-style Tree Root Burial, Sand Waterfall Burial. Because these techniques were performed in the Susanoo state, their power was increased by dozens of times. HMPH. Ninjutsu is not powerful just because you use it more. Today I will let you see the forbidden technique of the Uchiha clan, the technique to change fate. As soon as Danzo finished speaking, he immediately sneered and performed Izanagi. With the performance of Izanagi, all the ninjutsu that Kazama had just performed turned into dreams. It did not cause any harm to Danzo. And Kazama immediately used his own burning system to successfully absorb Izanagi. Ling. Izanagi was successfully absorbed. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the technique to determine fate, Izanami, Ling. Absorb 2 more ninjutsu to obtain the 6th kind of strange fire open Izanami, almost at the same time. Kazama also immediately performed Izanami at the cost of blinding his left eye. Because he knew that Danzo would immediately launch a counterattack after using Izanagi. And if Danzo hit his Izanami, he would have to let Danzo hit his body while Izanami was activated. Boom. As expected, Danzo's ghostly figure immediately flashed behind Kazama. Then he hit Kazama and sent him flying backwards. Kid, have you seen my ability? You failed, Danzo. What? At this time, Kazama, who was knocked to the ground, stood up again. And he used the same ninjutsu as before. I told you that these attacks don't work on me. Danzo was about to use Izanagi again. But the result was the same as before. Now his battle with Kazama seemed to have become a round-robin battle. And the process of each battle was exactly the same, and the words were exactly the same. What's going on? I clearly used Izanagi. Why did this happen? Danzo roared, and he was almost collapsed in a dead loop. Because you were hit by my Izanami. If Izanagi is a technique to change fate, then my Izanami is a technique to determine fate. Impossible, impossible. After hearing what Kazama said, Danzo seemed to be crazy. But no matter how he struggled, he could not escape this technique to determine fate. At this time, Danzo's spirit had fallen into a dead loop. And his body was stagnant in place, except that he was still breathing. The rest was no different from a dead person. My clansman who died tragically. Sanada Kazama, can finally avenge you now. After leaving Danzo's right eye and right arm, Kazama immediately used the strange fire to burn Danzo into nothingness. The next step is to evolve into the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan. And then you can start to beat up all kinds of enemies, obtain the strange fire to enhance your strength, and work hard to ascend to the position of Hokage in the future, Kazama said and began the fusion of the Sharingan. Chapter 46, Opening the Eternal Mangekyō Sharingan. Ling. The fusion of 10 Sharingan succeeded. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Eternal Mangekyō Sharingan, Ling. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Izanagi. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Izanami. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Kado Matsukami. Damn. Not only did I obtain Izanagi and Izanami, who are considered cheating techniques, but I also obtained the strongest illusion Kado Matsukami. From now on, everyone within the range of my pupil technique will become my puppet, right? Too awesome, too powerful, too. Just when Feng Jian was talking incoherently with excitement, the system's next words were like cold water, directly poured on Feng Jian's head. Ling. Warm reminder to the host, Izanagi and Izanami are both forbidden techniques. No matter which of these two techniques is used, you will be blind forever. What? That means this technique is one time. Yes, there is also Kado Matsukami. Since the host is not Uchiha Shiso himself, and does not have the cells of the first generation of Hokage to enhance his physique, the cooldown time for using Kado Matsukami once will be as long as 15 years. Damn. Izanagi, Izanami and Kado Matsukami. All can only be seen but not used. Feng Jian was speechless at this time. Originally, he wanted to rely on these three techniques to beat the strong men in the Naruto world and enhance his own strength. But now the conditions for using these three techniques are too harsh. Although Feng Jian also has equally powerful strange fire and the burning technique system that can absorb and be immune to all attacks. But Feng Jian also hopes to be able to use Izanagi, Yanami and Kado Matsukami unlimited times. System. Is there no other way? If the host wants to perform these three techniques infinitely, the host must obtain the strange fire falling hard flame. This strange fire can temper the ki and bones, and can temper the chakra in the body at all times, speeding up the strength of each cell in the host's body, so that the host's body can be comparable to the first generation of Hokage, or even stronger than the first generation of Hokage's body, falling hard flame. This strange fire is known as a cheating tool for cultivation. I will soon obtain the Wind Fury Dragon Flame. In order, the next is the Volcano Stone Flame, the Fire Cloud Water Flame, the Sea Heart Flame, and then the Falling Heart Flame. Although there are still many strange fires in between, it is not difficult for me. After all, it is now the period of the Chunin exam. I can completely absorb the attacks of various ninjas to obtain the Falling Heart Flame as soon as possible. At that time, when he thought of this, Feng Jian couldn't stop laughing. The Chunin exam should now be in the third one-on-one fight. Well, the next step is to return to the examination room and start absorbing the opponent's ninjutsu in battle. Just when Feng Jian made up his mind and was ready to leave this route, suddenly I remembered that Zabuza and Haku were fighting with Danzo's men outside. I wonder what the result of the battle was. At this time, Zabuza and Haku were already seriously injured by Danzo's men Yamanaka Fuu and Abura Tajin. They were about to die here, but they still did not retreat. HMPH. You two rebel ninjas from the hidden mist village actually dared to come to our route to make trouble. Let's see how I will kill you next. Just when Danzo's two men were about to kill Zabuza and Haku with their swords, a huge red skull suddenly blocked the attack and surrounded Zabuza and Haku inside. And this huge red skull was Kazama's Susanoo. Now that Kazama has the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan, he can use Susanoo unlimited times, and there are no side effects. You are Sanada Kazama. Seeing Kazama's appearance, Danzo's two men were all shocked. Because Sanada Kazama himself had been listed on the must-kill list by Danzo's route. But they did not expect that Kazama would take the initiative to deliver himself to their door. Chapter 47, Subjugating Danzo's Men. Give up. Now that Danzo is dead, there is no need for you to work for him anymore. As Kazama said this, he easily neutralized the attacks of Yamanaka Kazanabura and Tajin. Nonsense. Danzo-sama is so powerful, how could he be defeated by a brat like you? Prepare to die. Abura Tajin said this and used his trump card. Secret technique, poison dust technique, Amaterasu. The three-colored Amaterasu, which contained the strange fire, instantly burned the poisonous dust in the air into nothingness. Heart-to-heart technique, Tsukuyomi. Before Yamanaka Kase could successfully perform his technique, Kazama pulled him and Abura Tajin into the Tsukuyomi world. It would be easy for me to kill you, but I spared your lives because you have not committed any great evil in your lives. I killed Danzo to avenge the Sanada clan, not to be an enemy of Konoha. I will now give you two choices. One is to be tortured to death by my Tsukuyomi illusion, and the second is to submit to me from now on. Danzo will not treat you as human beings, but I will treat you as my companions and share weal and woe with you. Hearing what Kazama said, they felt Kazama's terrifying strength again. Yamanaka Kazanabura knew that Kazama was not lying. It seemed that Danzo was indeed killed by him. And Danzo did not treat them well on weekdays. As the saying goes, people go to high places, and water flows to low places. Thinking of this, Yamanaka Kazanabura immediately submitted to Kazama. Okay. Next, you will act together with Zabuza and Haku. It won't be long before Orochimaru will lead his men to attack Konoha. You will wait for the opportunity to block the attack of Orochimaru's men, and I will deal with Orochimaru myself. Yes, sir. After Kazama finished his instructions, he immediately used the power of the Yang fire of the Yin-Yang double flame. The injuries of Zabuza and Haku were healed. Seeing that Kazama's flame was so powerful that it could make the injured people recover in an instant, Yamanaka Kazanabura admired Kazama even more. Then the four of them took action according to Kazama's orders. Kazama immediately returned to the third examination room of the Chunin exam. After the clone left everyone's sight, Kazama himself immediately came to Naruto's side. As the wood release clone was released, Kazama immediately received a message from the clone. Kazama was immediately a little amused. It turned out that Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke had already completed the exam. Moreover, Naruto defeated Inuzuka Kiba with a millennium-killing bullet given to him by Kazama, and cured Inuzuka Kiba's constipation. But because of his strength, no one was willing to fight with him. Damn. I wanted to take this opportunity to absorb the ninjutsu of other ninjas and quickly obtain the strange firefall and heart flame, just as the third Hokage was about to announce the end of the preliminary examination. A ninja dressed like a loser immediately came out. Why is no one fighting with Sanada Kazama? Isn't it obvious that Sanada Kazama will automatically advance? I don't accept it. Hearing the words of the visitor, the participating ninjas all laughed at his stupidity. Because it's not that no one fights with Kazama, but that no one dares to fight with Kazama. From what you said, are you going to fight with Sanada Kazama? The referee Moonlight Gale resisted the urge to laugh and walked in front of this person. That's right. I'm Hinata Hepping, and I want to compete with Sanada Kazama. Who is this Hinata Hepping? How dare he compete with a monster like Sanada Kazama? Everyone became interested in this Hinata Hepping. Chapter 48 Operation to Destroy Konoha. I heard that this guy is a son-in-law of the Hyuga family, and he likes to pick on weak people. At this time, some people who knew the details of Hyuga Hepping began to gossip. He saw that Sanada Kazama had not made a move, so he probably regarded Sanada Kazama as a weak person. I also heard that although this guy married into the Hyuga family, he is still a virgin. Haha. Then this son-in-law is in vain. Just as everyone was talking about it, Kazama had already arrived on the stage. Seeing someone willing to fight with him, Kazama was very happy. I am Sanada Kazama, please teach me. Teach your mother, teach me. My Hyuga family has never liked to teach anyone. Watch how I beat you up next. Hyuga Hepping really regarded Kazama as a weak person, so he started with a series of continuous attacks. Damn. He is worthy of being a virgin. His hand speed is really fast. The crowd in the audience burst into laughter again. It's boring, seeing that this Hyuga Hepping seemed to only know how to use hidden weapons, but not other ninjutsu. Kazama was too lazy to waste time with him. Besides, this person just spoke rudely, And Kazama also wanted to teach him a lesson. So he used the instant body technique and flashed directly behind Hyuga Hepping. Without waiting for him to react, he immediately gave him a 1,000-year kill and blasted him out of the ring. After this little episode, everyone felt that Kazama seemed to be stronger than before. So they were all glad that it was not them who had just fought against Kazama. At this moment, the 4th-generation Kazekage in the stands suddenly held the 3rd-generation Hokage hostage. Almost at the same time, a heart-wrenching roar sounded outside the examination room. With this terrifying cry, the huge figure of the one-tailed Shukaku appeared in front of everyone. Orochimaru really started to act in advance, seeing the one-tailed Shukaku appear and the 3rd-generation Hokage being held hostage. Kazama knew that this was Orochimaru's joint action to destroy Konoha with the Sands village. The one who is holding the 3rd Hokage hostage is not the Kazekage himself, but Orochimaru in disguise. According to the plot in the comics, after this battle, the 3rd Hokage will die because of the forbidden technique of Shiki Fujin. But now that Kazama is here, he will not let the 3rd Hokage die no matter what. Orochimaru, Kazama directly opened the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan and prepared to release Amaterasu to Orochimaru. But Orochimaru seemed to have expected Kazama to do this, so he immediately blocked the 3rd Hokage in front of him. I knew that this old thing Danzo couldn't kill you. If you have the guts, attack me. Let's see who dies first, me or the 3rd Hokage. Damn it, seeing that Orochimaru actually used the 3rd Hokage as a hostage, Kazama hurriedly stopped releasing Amaterasu. At this time, the 3rd Hokage calmly said to Kazama, "Don't worry about me. Go and stop the one-tailed Shukaku from destroying Konoha." Okay, Kazama knew that Orochimaru couldn't kill the 3rd Hokage for a while. So they could only deal with the one-tailed Shukaku first, and then help the 3rd Hokage deal with Orochimaru. This is exactly what you want, Orochimaru. After seeing Kazama leave, the 3rd Hokage said coldly. "You still know me, Sarutobi-sensei. To be honest, I'm not sure I can defeat this monster Kazama, but now that this kid is gone, your life will be in danger." Ninjutsu. 4 Purple Flame Formation. At this time, Orochimaru's 4 subordinates immediately cast a formation to trap the 3rd Hokage. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49, Transformation into Shukaku. You can't get out if you don't kill me, Sarutobi-sensei, Kazama. Konoha is depending on you from now on, as the 3rd Hokage and Orochimaru fought fiercely. Kazama had already rushed to the one-tailed Shukaku. Damn it. I clearly warned Gaara before, why would this guy help Orochimaru to deal with Konoha? Gaara is the Jinchuriki of the one-tailed Shukaku. Now that the one-tailed Shukaku has appeared, it is obvious that Gaara has performed the sleeping technique and released the full power of the one-tailed Shukaku. Gaara is under an illusion. At this time, Kankuro and Temari also came to Kazama's side. He also told us what you said to Gaara before. Unfortunately, when Gaara went to ask the 4th Kazekage, the 4th Kazekage had already been killed by Orochimaru. In order to cover our escape, Gaara was controlled by Orochimaru's illusion. I see, Orochimaru is really unscrupulous. What should we do next? The 4th Kazekage is dead, and the 3rd Hokage is entangled by Orochimaru. If we don't have the power of a cage-level ninja, we can't control the violent power of the one-tailed Shukaku, as Gaara's older brother and sister, Kankuro and Temari are very clear about the terrifying power of the one-tailed Shukaku. Now that Gaara has released the one-tailed Shukaku, I must also transform into the one-tailed Shukaku and confront him head-on. If I can take the opportunity to absorb the attack power of the one-tailed Shukaku, won't it also enhance my strength and speed up the acquisition of the strange Firefall and Heart Flame? Thinking of this, Kazama immediately began to condense chakra and prepare to transform into the one-tailed Shukaku. Because he had absorbed the power of Naruto's 9 tails before, he had the ability to transform into the one-tailed Shukaku. What are you doing? Seeing that Kazama actually began to condense chakra, Temari and Kankuro were very confused. I said, you are not going to fight the one-tailed Shukaku alone, what? Is it not possible, please? That is a tailed beast. Although it is only one tail, it is beyond the scope of our ninjas. No matter how strong you are, you can't fight against a tailed beast, that's right. I advise you to save some energy. If you have time to persuade me, you might as well go away quickly. Why, damn it, At this time, Kankuro hadn't finished speaking, and he was instantly blown away hundreds of meters by the powerful chakra released by Kazama. Come out. One-tailed Shukaku, with Kazuma's roar. Two identical one-tailed Shukaku appeared in everyone's sight. Orochimaru, you lunatic. You actually created two one-tailed Shukaku. Hearing the third Hokage's angry shout, Orochimaru was also very confused about the current situation. He immediately secretly wondered in his heart, what is going on? Why are there two one-tailed Shukaku? However, in order to continue to show off in front of the third Hokage, he could only pretend to be calm and snorted coldly. Then he started a fierce battle with the third Hokage again. I am not seeing things. This kid Sanada Kazama is actually also a one-tailed Jinchuriki. Kankuro, who was blown away, immediately rubbed his eyes, his face full of disbelief. Idiot. How can there be two one-tailed Shukaku in the world? Hearing Temari's answer, Kankuro was even more confused. Then why did Sanada Kazama also become a one-tailed Shukaku? How should I know? And Sanada Kazama is a monster to begin with. It's not surprising that he can transform into a one-tailed Shukaku. Although Temari said this, she was as shocked as Kankuro in her heart. Chapter 50, transformed into a two-tailed cat. She really couldn't figure out why Kazama, who was not a Jinchuriki, would also turn into the one-tailed Shukaku. Just when Kankuro and Temari were surprised by Kazama's transformation, Kazama, who turned into the one-tailed Shukaku, had already started a fierce battle with Gaara's one-tailed Shukaku. Although Gaara was the authentic one-tailed Shukaku, but Kazama also mastered the full power of the one-tailed Shukaku. Therefore, after a few rounds, it was Gaara's one-tailed Shukaku that was somewhat defeated. Because in addition to the power of the one-tailed Shukaku, Kazama also had 6 kinds of strange fire in his body at the same time. Even the one-tailed Shukaku's heaven-defying defense was now burned by Kazama's strange fire. Asshole! How dare you turn into my appearance, and become so ugly? I will never forgive you. Is this one-tailed Shukaku guy a social youth? He actually said I all the time, and he likes to use colloquialisms so much. Tailed beast ball. Just when Kazama was secretly laughing at the tone of the one-tailed Shukaku's speech, the powerful tailed beast ball had already rushed towards Kazama. Come on. It's a good time to try out what skills I will gain after absorbing the tailed beast ball. Thinking of this, Kazama immediately stood still and let the powerful tailed beast ball come at him. Yahoo! Hit the target, go to hell, faker. Seeing that his tailed beast ball hit Kazama, the one-tailed Shukaku danced with joy. But the next scene made the crazy laughing one-tailed Shukaku stay where he was. It turned out that his tailed beast ball not only failed to defeat Kazama, it was even absorbed into the body of the one-tailed Shukaku that Kazama transformed into. Ling. Congratulations to the host for absorbing the Shukaku tailed beast ball and gaining the power of the two-tailed Nakamata. The host can transform into the two-tailed Nakamata's body and use all its abilities. Ling. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 6th kind of strange fire, Wind Fury Dragon Flame. This fire is born in the eye of the fire tornado. When it is cast, it will form a fire tornado. Wherever it goes, it will become a sea of fire. It is the ultimate product of the fusion of wind and fire. At the same time, it can increase the host's wind escape power to the extreme. Ling. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the volcanic stone flame. This fire is the spirit of the ancient volcano. It has been tempered and refined. It can increase the host's defense to the extreme. The body alone can resist the full force of the tailed beast. Great! I didn't expect that after absorbing a tailed beast ball, I actually obtained 2 kinds of strange fire at once. It seems that I am really getting closer and closer to obtaining the fallen heart flame. Originally, Feng Jian thought that he was lucky enough to obtain the power of the two-tailed Nakamata. But now he has obtained 2 kinds of strange fire in a row. At this time, Feng Jian's strength is increasing, just like sitting on a rocket and rising. Okay. Next, I'll let you try my tailed beast ball. Come out, two-tailed Nakamata. Just when Gaara was thinking about how to defeat the imposter in front of him, he suddenly saw Kazama transformed and turned into his old rival, the two-tailed Nakamata. Orochimaru, you bastard. You actually created another two-tailed Nakamata. The third Hokage, who was fighting fiercely with Orochimaru, saw the two-tailed Nakamata appear in front of the one-tailed Shukaku. He was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat, so he immediately cursed at Orochimaru. You old guy. Don't throw dirty water on me. How do I know how this two-tailed came out? The appearance of 2 one-tailed Shukakus before was beyond Orochimaru's expectations. Now that a two-tailed Nakamata has appeared, Orochimaru suddenly feels that he can't stay here any longer. Otherwise, if the three-tailed or four-tailed appears next, not to mention Konoha, even he himself will be buried here. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.